It's time for my Game of the Year list, which is going to be a very awkward 6 games because I can't leave the 6th game off because I feel it's really underrated and it didn't get a fair shake when it was released, and I think it's a sensationally good Souls-like. But quick caveat on this list before we begin, I have not played enough of Baldur's Gate 3 or Tears of the Kingdom to give an opinion on those games or to put them in this list. I mean, obviously they're both fantastic games. I mean, the quality kind of oozes out of the screen when you start playing, but I won't be putting either of those games in this list because I like to complete games and finish them. I basically, when I think about games of the year, I think how much those games live in my head after I finish them, and that's always a really good way, I feel, to judge how you value a game in terms of its quality, and rather than being a prisoner of the moment, which is what happens a lot. People play a game and always go straight away, it's a classic, it's the greatest game ever. Well, really, you can only judge greatness by how long it lives with you, how long it stays with you, how long you think about it down the line, which is why you find a lot of games that are newer are more likely to get Game of the Year nominations because they're in people's heads. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. So in at number 6, I have Wolong Fallen Dynasty. For some reason, this game didn't get the respect it deserved on release, and I'm going to put it down to it not being a very pretty game. It sure doesn't look current gen, I can tell you that much, but I will die on this hill. The combat in this game is excellent. It's so good. It feels so responsive, it feels so satisfying. There's a great build system in there, there's a great crafting system, and the enemies, there's so many original enemies, original encounters, excellent boss fights from beginning to end. All the boss fights just seem perfectly balanced, and the flag system, which is unique to Wolong, is really good and something I feel other Souls games should steal. Overall, Wolong was a breath of fresh air for the Souls-like genre. It was fast-paced, it was reactive, it was a joy to play. I had such a great time in Wolong, and I'm kind of sad on the inside that more people don't love it. Number 5 is Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. It's a DLC, so I guess I'm kind of cheating, but technically it's up to me what I put on this list, as long as it was released this year. And it was. I've gushed a lot about Cyberpunk on my other video, which is called Turmoil to Triumph, the greatest comeback ever. It's a video I've got on this channel, you can go watch it. And I just think Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty is excellent storytelling, it's nuanced storytelling, it challenges the player to think about decisions, there's brilliant dramatic set pieces with really engaging mechanics. Phantom Liberty just makes a game that was already incredibly immersive even more immersive. Dogtown is a great location, feels like you're in kind of a dark favela from the future, you know, like a really rough estate, lawless, where all the people go to hide away from the law. Phantom Liberty is just a fantastic companion piece to the already incredible Cyberpunk world. It's one of those DLCs where you have to buy it if you're going to get Cyberpunk. So I say that very rarely about DLCs. I always feel DLCs are nice if you want to just get back into a game you enjoyed again. But Phantom Liberty almost feels like a key extension, kind of like a new piece of cyberware in your body, if you will. And yeah, I just think you have to get it if you get Cyberpunk. That's how good it is. Moving on to number 4. Number 4 is Lies of P, and I think it's crazy Lies of P is number 4 on this year's Game of the Year list. That's how good this year has been. Lies of P would be Game of the Year any other year, I'm pretty certain. I've not gone back and looked at that to verify it with any facts, but look, Lies of P is phenomenally good, and if FromSoft had made this game, I'm telling you, this game would be in the 90s on Metacritic and it'd be everyone's Game of the Year. But sadly, people are influenced by labels, and I think Lies of P is a victim of that. Lies of P for me has better combat than a Souls game. That's just down to preferential taste. I like faster combat, I like more aggressive combat, I like to be able to parry and stagger and kill a blow and whatever the hell you want to call it, but I just feel like all those things are on a much better loop in Lies of P. But add to that, the story in Lies of P, there's an actual story and you can relate to it because it's based off Pinocchio, the adult version of Pinocchio, not the kid's story. And a weapon system and a variety in weapons and builds that's easy to understand. A world that is cohesive in its design and its direction, whether that's in art direction, whether that's in lore, whether that's in atmosphere and aesthetic. It all just feels very cohesive. And I've got a video on Lies of P talking about whether it's an imitation or an evolution, and I came to the conclusion that Lies of P is a really important evolution of the Souls formula, and I firmly believe that Lies of P is an easy Game of the Year contender for me. It's absolutely fantastic. The only criticism, like I said in my previous video, was that it does borrow heavily from other genres. It doesn't have a huge amount of original ideas of its own, but it has enough original ideas of its own, as well as evolving the things it's borrowed from other games to be a special game in its own right. Lies of P is an easy number 4 for me. Number 3 is Resident Evil 4 Remake. I feel like the community's gone a bit cold on the remake since it was released. I haven't. I loved this remake. I finished the remake like 3 times. It's amazing. It's so much fun. It's like the perfect action horror survival game. It really is. It just balances more towards the action side than the survival horror side, but that's okay. And really, I think the reason I rate Resident Evil 4 Remake so highly, it's like this massive adrenaline based roller coaster that just doesn't stop for like forever. It's like video gaming crack is what Resident Evil 4 Remake is. I had such a laugh playing it. The weapons, the reruns, the bonuses for the reruns, the boss encounters, just the enemy setups in different parts of the levels, the set piece events, the little tweaks they made in the story. Yes, they did miss out some really good bits from the original, but they also added bits and amended bits to make it a bit cooler. Resident Evil 4 has stuck in my head since I finished it. I lent it to my friend and I can't wait to get it back because I really want to play separate ways. Again, fantastic, so much fun. You'd be crazy not to pick up Resident Evil 4 Remake if you've not played it already. It's so much video gamey fun. Number 2 is Dead Space Remake. I cannot believe Dead Space Remake was not nominated for Game of the Year. Absolutely insane. This is so good. If Resident Evil 4 is that perfect action-based survival horror, Dead Space is your perfect horror-based survival horror. This game is terrifying, it's tense, it's claustrophobic, it's so good. All the issues the original had with the kind of weapon upgrading system, the leveling system, the kiosk system, it's all fixed. This game flows seamlessly, it's terrifying, the dismemberment system has aged so well. The guns are all really useful, all great, allows you to play anywhere you want. It feels so weighted. The Hashimura, I think I'm saying that right, it's such a fantastically designed singular level. Oh, Dead Space, I have thought about Dead Space so much since I finished it. An incredible horror game, it's an incredible remake, and it's saying a lot that I think it's better than the Resident Evil 4 remake. It's a gorgeous game as well. I am so gutted that it's not getting its flowers at the end of the year like it deserves to be. Dead Space Remake is phenomenal stuff. And at number 1, we have the game that put the biggest smile on my face for the longest amount of time this year, and that was Hi-Fi Rush. It's original, it feels new, it's vibrant, it's like a stand-up comedy, but as a video game. The boss fights are honestly on another level than anything else you'll play this year. The mix of that trance-like state you get into while listening to really good music, but then also the joy you feel of a video game when you hit combos, it's unbelievable. It's like Devil May Cry meets the best dance music set you've ever heard in your life. It's endorphin, serotonin, all the other drugs and chemicals that your body will release rolled into one, and it's funny to boot. The level designs are great. The kind of traversal based puzzles in the levels are so good. Hi-Fi Rush is easily Game of the Year. I feel like from the games I've played, I know I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 enough, but we should praise and hold up companies that produce games of this quality and of this much originality, and then execute it to a level and produce a game that is just this good overall. Can you believe that this game wasn't even going to be released? It was kind of made in contrast to what the higher-ups wanted. Man, if this is what you can do and you just let people be free, then bigger companies need to be doing this more. Just let people's originality flow. You end up with gems like Hi-Fi Rush. Utterly brilliant. It's free on Xbox Game Pass. What more could you want? There's no reason not to go out right now and play this game over the Christmas holidays. Unbelievable, joyous, funny, brilliant combat. So many original enemies. I mean, there's so many unique enemies in this game, and then there's the boss fights, and all the boss fights are totally different. There's nothing being reskinned or reused. The licensed music here just adds to it. I mean, honestly, smashing a bunch of enemies to the beat of Prodigy's Omen, or what I think it was Omen anyway, whichever Prodigy song it was, is one of the best memories this year from gaming. It's so fucking good. Hi-Fi Rush, Game of the Year. No doubt about it to me. That's my Game of the Year list. Let me know what your games of the year were. Pop them down in the comments. Let us know. And thank you very much for listening, watching, and take care. Have a great Christmas holidays. And look after yourselves.